I was to ask you what you were looking at, would you be able to tell me? Would you say it was the Kleinabad Kekistani flag through a fruity bandana? Yes, you would? Okay, good for you. Good for you, you know that. Good. All right, well, this is Sully for Antisocial News, and this is the Body Count Report for Monday, January the 22nd, 2018. And I'm going to be running through some life or death news stories from around the world. I apologize for the lack of a setup today, but for some reason, my OBS studio needed to update. And then when it updated, it no longer worked. I'm peeved. To be saying that I was angry would be an understatement. Anyway, we're going to have to just read through these for you. So we have German serial killer nurse charged with 97 more murders. These were 97 more on top of the 6 he was already charged with. Horrifying story in there. I highly encourage you, go to that, click on it, read it, Times of India reporting. And then we have civilian injured in cross-border firing dies. Toll climbs to 15. There is literally a live fire conflict between Pakistan and India. Now we have 12th grader kills principal in Pakistan over alleged blasphemy. We have quite a few Pakistan stories. Now we have France says Iran not respecting UN text on ballistic missiles. Kind of a well-duh situation. And now we have another France. Actually, I'm going to save that one. I didn't realize I had tagged those together because they both involve France, but it involves a topic that I'll bring up in a moment. Here we have death toll in Syria, Afrin climbs to 18. And then we have the Afrin is where the Kurdish people live. And now you have Turkey versus the Kurds. Turkey shells Kurdish militia. Syria operation has begun. Death toll in Syria's Afrin climbs to 18. And then airstrikes pound Syria's Afrin as Turkey launches Operation Olive Branch. And now Iraqi Prime Minister meets Kurdistan region leader for the first time since independence vote. That was a big thing. I covered that here because there was a body count just because the Kurdish people wanted their own state they wanted their own country really. Out of Iraq, they actually voted to secede. Now France asks Turkey to act with restraint in Syria. Now, this is Times of India reporting, and it has specifically to do with the stories that I just mentioned about Afrin and the death toll there. So now we have a few more WTF situations out of Pakistan. A pretty boy was killed as a terrorist by government. My quotation marks says, if you want to know my real opinions, which I generally keep on my Patreon account and I don't put out to the public, just look at where the quotation marks are placed in this. Pretty boy killed as terrorist by government. Mysterious case of Naguib Masood, the alleged terrorist, killed in a police encounter. And if you want to see dailypakistan.com's bias, look where they put the quotation marks on encounter. Anyway, Pakistan top cop suspended for fake encounter of aspiring actor. I'd like to say this is the top cop of Pakistan, a country that just released a world-known terrorist saying he has no charges against him, Hafiz Saeed, and yet they are killing an Instagram model as a terrorist. So, So if you want to be a terrorist in Pakistan, just stay away from Instagram. That's the moral of the story there. Okay, now we're going to move on to India here. We have Padmaavat Kamisena says Rajput women to commit Johar on 24th of January. 1,826 have registered for the pride of the Rajput, rather to burn than be subjugated. Very proud culture, very proud heritage. I am one with that. Oh my gosh, I love that. It's like a Sabaton song. It's so powerful when you hear about the concept of the Rajputi women. And when the Rajputi warriors were defeated, the Rajput warriors were defeated by the Mohammedan horde, right? And how did they respond? When the Mohammedans said, "We are going to take you now. We have conquered your land, and we're going to take you as wives," they immolated themselves. They covered themselves in fire. They died in this blaze of resistance to their new dictators. This situation, now that you know a little bit of history, this situation is not exactly the same thing. This is women of Rajput descent who are saying they're going to kill themselves if a movie comes out. Now, not exactly the same thing as the original Rajput women immolation. So I've put several links. I have put several links in here for you to look at. Check it out. Yeah, we have how many links did I put in here? I'm trying to find quite a few. Okay, so we have firstpost.com, Tribune India, and Hindustan Times, and Times of India. So and the Times of India one is if you want to find out what the movie Padmaavat is all about. They actually have a link there to the promo if you want to watch it. And it doesn't look like that bad of a film. To be honest, I've seen worse films that I've wanted to light myself on fire for, and I don't think this is one of those films. Rajputi women, as I have said, I'm your biggest fanboy in the West. Don't burn yourselves over this, okay? Let freedom of speech be a thing. And lighting yourself on fire is kind of like the nuclear option of freedom of speech, okay? Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. So we have not yet talked about the Kabul attack. And I want to say that there's been some serious issues in Pakistan in the past few days that I need to bring up. A follow-up on the doctor who aided the hunt for Osama bin Laden, languages forgotten. Check that story out. One of the excerpts from it is pretty infuriating. Americans might wonder how Pakistan could imprison a man who helped track down the mastermind of 9/11 attacks. Pakistanis are apt to ask a different question. How could the United States betray its trust and cheapen its sovereignty with a secret nighttime raid that shamed the military and its intelligence agencies? You want the answer to that? Is that a rhetorical question, or do you want the answer? Because if it's a rhetorical question, I'm going to answer anyway. You should feel ashamed when you fuck up and let the world's most wanted terrorist live near your citadel. And you should be ashamed when you're not a real country, because that's kind of what it looks like when the world's number one most wanted terrorist is living with an eye shot of your citadel. There you go. You should feel ashamed. How dare you make us feel shame? Yeah, you should. Osama bin Laden was living right outside your citadel. That's bad. You're a bad country. You're not a good country. You're not a good example of a country. Are you a country, Pakistan? Anyway, check that story out. Obviously, it is from a different perspective than American perspective, because I just gave you the American perspective. And it's not all depressing BS out of Pakistan. There are actually some Pakistanis who are very much against terrorists. So thank you so much for those people and for your calls for cooperation for combating terrorism. Times of India reporting, and it is in direct response to the Kabul terror attack. The Kabul terror attack is Taliban attack on Afghan hotel ends after 13 hours with 18 dead. We also have some updates here. I have some Afghan special forces battle to regain control of Kabul hotel. And then Manila Times finally reporting on the final here. Kabul hotel attack, death toll at least 22. Horrific situation just happened over this weekend. Our hearts go out to the people of Afghanistan and the people at the International Hotel from different countries. Horrifying situation, I'm sure, for everyone involved. And may the terrorists, scum, Taliban, pieces of garbage, rot in hell. All right, moving on. We have a Rohingya update. Rohingya refugee leaders draw up demands ahead of repatriation. They won, they're the majority. They're the Muslims. They are 1/3 of the planet, and the people of Myanmar are less than 1% of the planet. So the Rohingya have the upper hand, and they are the majority on the planet. They are the Muslim majority on the planet. The Buddhists are a minority. The Hindus are a minority in comparison, and the government of Burma is a super minority, meaning it is less than 1% of the population of the entire planet in comparison, which is why the Rohingya have all the upper hand to make all the demands, and they are. Take that as you will, and remember what I just said is the true facts of the situation. Also, Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army, otherwise known as ARSA, is a terrorist group, very proud of their terrorist activities, and they said they are going to continue them. That is a Rohingya group. All right, moving on. We have Turkey and the Kurds. I would like to say, too, if somebody just heard me say that and go, oh, you're on Myanmar's side, you're on Myanmar's side. Listen, if there's a situation where I don't agree 100% with either side, I cannot agree 100% with either side because I am a free thinker. I can look at a situation where I don't agree with everyone, and I can go, I don't agree with everyone. I don't have to look at a situation and think that it's a frickin' coloring book and go, oh, I agree with that side, and the other side is a bad guy. This is G.I. Joe, and that's Cobra Commander. No, it's not. That's not how the world works. There's going to be situations where both sides are, by my standards, bad. Myanmar did some bad things, and the Rohingyas did a lot of bad things. Okay? So Myanmar doing bad things. Rohingyas doing bad things. Do I think there's merit to either side? Sure. Do I think there's guilt and blame on either side? Yep. So which side's the good side? I'm not God. I'm not judging these people. I'm just laying out the facts for you, which is why I find multiple sources to explain to you the situation. All right. Man, I love it when it like chromas my face out. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm green. Why am I green? What part of me is green? I'm very pink. All right. We are going to move on. Are you ready to move on? Because I don't think I'm done rambling incoherently about the Rohingya. All right, Turkey and the Kurds. I discussed that already. Turkey is invading into Kurdish Syria, fighting terrorists. I know. How do you essentially defend Rohingya and then and then not defend. How do I essentially defend Myanmar and then not defend Turkey against the Kurds? But I think it's sort of one of those things where, in this situation, I feel like this is a better example of why people are being manipulated, because we all in America, we all kind of like the Kurds. Anybody who's worn a dog tag or read Soldier of Fortune likes the Kurds. Kurds are cool. Fun fact, some Kurds are terrorists. There is Hezbollah Kurdistan. There is PKK. There are Kurdish terrorists. Okay? So, that being the case, I know that some of these good guys who we like have bad guys in them. Okay? That's a fact. And I think it's sort of funny that I know that about the Kurds, but you have people who don't seem to know that about the Rohingya. And they get upset when you mention that there has ever been a terrorist element to the Rohingya. Yeah, there is. It's called Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army. ARSA. 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 Oh my gosh. Like, they are terrorists. There are terrorists amongst them. They support terrorists. They are supported by terrorists. They have terrorists in their group who call the shots and say, we have demands. Those are terrorists. So the fact that people are going, oh, you can't mention that. Don't you know the Rohingyas are little babies? And it's like, but they're not, though. I'm gonna mention when Myanmar does bad stuff, but I'm also going to mention the fact that the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army is a thing. Just like how I love the Kurds, love them to death. I love the Kurds, but yeah, they do have Hezbollah Kurdistan of the Shia, and they have the PKK, which I believe is a Sunni terrorist organization. So there we go. Moving on. Christmas. Everybody wants their, my side is pure. No, your side's not pure. There's dirt on everybody. Everyone, all of us have fallen short. Okay. Everybody has sin on their side. All right. Now another little question about Turkey is it a full blown dictatorship? Is it? Because the dictatorship in Turkey appears to have detained 24 people over social media comments on Syria. All right. Glad I'm not in Turkey, because I'm sure I crossed the line by criticizing Turkey there. All right. 3 NPA rebels. We are in the Philippines now. Manila Times reporting. 3 new People's Army rebels and a member of CAFGU, or the Civilian Armed Forces Geographical Unit, were slain in an encounter. Check that story out. We also have Quezon government seeks security for projects because of the MPA and their wacky shenanigans in the area. Now we have random death in Cebu. Horrible situation. Horrifying. It was a road accident that killed 9 people. All right. Doctors and nurses. So important people that were meant to be saving other people's lives, and they got killed on the road. Disgusting. Oh my gosh. All right. Another Cebu story. Engineer killed in Cebu ambush. So look into that. Manila Times reporting. Israel news. Ready for some Israel news? We got 2 about the Haredim. Now, I am very uncomfortable talking about this because these are the ultra-Orthodox people of my religion. But you know what? This is the anti-social news. I'm not here to make any friends, even if I offend people that I like, people that I love. I have to tell the facts of the situation. I have to live up to my name, anti-social. So, here we go. Radical. Haredim riot in Jerusalem over body autopsy. Radical ultra-Orthodox protesters clash with police forces arriving to evacuate the body of a 63-year-old man found in a guest house in Guela neighborhood. Rioters set fire to garbage bins, cause damage to police cars. And this is a ridiculous story. You can take a look at it. They ran over a rioter with an ambulance. I'm kind of surprised they didn't do. They also used flash bombs, the big flash grenades, to disperse people from the crowd. This looks like a really violent crowd. I'm really shocked they didn't do more against them. But I mean, I guess it's sort of like how I started stating my apprehension. These are the ultra-Orthodox people of my religion, and I want to be respectful. But yeah, it really seems like they went crazy and completely overboard on this situation. And when I see the fact that somebody had died, a 63-year-old person had died, and they're not letting the ambulance take the body, it just seems crazy and backwards. And I gotta say, I'm really a statist on this issue, okay? I'm really with Israeli government here on this one. Boop, boop, boop. But I do feel this is why there's a conflict. Is because I understand part of the reason why they're upset is because of the laws of kosherdom in our religion says that like bodies need to be dealt with in a certain way, and cutting that body open and all this violates kosher laws. I don't know. It's a horrible situation. I still don't think they should have acted the way they did and just damaged a police vehicle and stuff. That seems just bonkers. Seems absolutely crazy. Okay. Here we have... Oh, yeah. One follow-up on that is Netanyahu is giving the Haredim, giving into the Haredim on every issue, says Lapid. So check that out. Congo. The Democratic Republic of the Congo police arrest 10 anti-Kabila priests, over 250 protesters. AfricaNews.com reporting. And then follow-up from Africa News, France condemns Congolese government crackdown on protesters. All right, moving on to... Let me go ahead and read here. The Nigeria herdsmen attack on Filet Farm, not a presidency affair, says Adesina. There apparently has been another herdsman attack, and we've been covering the Fulani herdsmen for quite a while. It's a little wacky situation and horrifying and depressing, and I am done with the Body Count Report for Monday, January the 22nd, 2018. And I really hope that you learned something. I know I did. When I was researching this, I learned a lot. And with that, I will say, please, if there are links on the screen, click on them. If you have not subscribed, subscribe. If you want to see my non-news rundown, which is me being opinionated and giving my opinion on mainstream media, which I put behind a paywall, so I can talk comfortably with people who know me, then please click the Patreon link and join my Patreon. Thank you so much. Cheers.